Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian at supermastery.com, and welcome to my video review of the mystery thriller Secret in Their Eyes, starring Chiwetel, Ejiofor, Nicole, Kidman, and Julia Roberts. So let's get right into it. Now, if the title sounds vaguely familiar to all of you out there, this is actually a remake of the 2009 Argentinian film of the same name, which actually won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film a few years back. So this is sort of a remake of the film. Of that film, and the this sort of English language version of the story was written and directed by Billy Ray, who is a very accomplished Oscar-nominated screenwriter in Hollywood. You know, he's written films like The Hunger Games, Captain Phillips, and so many others. But he's also a prolific director in his own right, having sort of written and directed the critically acclaimed films Shattered Glass and Breach, which are great films, by the way. So in that regard, besides the cast, which is a great cast as film is assembled, Billy Ray was definitely one of the main reasons why I was really interested to check this film out. And I remember really liking the original film a lot. So, but I will admit though, I haven't seen the film in quite a number of years. So it's not as fresh in my mind as today, but there are a lot of sort of key moments from that film that I do very much remember. So I'm pretty much going to be judging this remake on its own for what it is. But let's get right into it. So what did I think of this English language version of Secret in Their Eyes? Having seen the original film, and I know I said I wasn't going to compare, but I'll sort of start off by, explaining sort of how I felt about it, having seen both films. Having seen the original film, I will admit this one isn't quite as good as that. Like, I'm not going to say it's a bad film at all. In fact, I think it's a pretty watchable film. But it doesn't sort of really offer anything new in terms of what we already seen before in the other films. So, and this is a film that kind of relies on, the original film sort of relied on some of its sort of plot twists and revelations and stuff like that. And a lot of those are sort of carried over again into this new version, but unfortunately it doesn't quite have the same impact as they did the first time round. So and if you've seen the original film, you'll know what to expect, like which revelations are coming, and all that. So in that regard, the film isn't quite as effective as it could have been because we've already seen some of this stuff before. So, but like I said, it's not a bad film by any means. Like, I still found it quite a watchable film, and it was interesting sort of looking back on the original film from what I can remember, and also sort of how this film sort of tackled its story. I sort of remembered that the character who Julia Roberts plays in the film was in the original film actually played by a man. So I thought that was an interesting sort of change that they did for the film to sort of make this sort of character who's in the film. Well, in the original, it was actually a man's wife who was murdered, but in this one it's actually Julia Roberts' character's daughter who's murdered. So I thought that was an interesting change, and in some ways it made the film in that regard a bit more compelling to me of this change. But I kind of wish they kind of did more, at least with Billy Ray, kind of did more with the story. And another thing with it as well is the original film was also was a very topical film in its own way, because it was sort of set around the time of what was going on in Argentina during the 70s and 80s. So it was kind of very relevant to what was going on politically at the time. While this one's not quite like that, it sort of plays it more as kind of a mystery thriller instead of having that sort of political aspect to it. Like, there are some of that sort of themes in there in regards to the film's killer and like the justice system and whatnot, but I don't feel like the new film doesn't really dive into it as much as it could have. But like I say, it's a watchable film. Like, I don't regret seeing this film, and compared to other sort of remakes of foreign films that I've seen over the last couple of years, this one's not too bad. Like, it's a decent film, and if you haven't actually seen the original Argentinian film, this one will definitely play to you a lot better. And I can know a lot. This is definitely a film I know for a fact that my mum will enjoy, because she's not really somebody who... So, because this is the type of film that she likes. She loves a good thriller. And of course, you know, the cast that they've assembled in this film is really good. Everyone's, I wouldn't say anyone gives sort of an amazing performance, but everyone is still puts in solid work nonetheless. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Nicole Kidman, really solid in the film. Also Dean Norris and Michael Kelly sharp. But also probably the standout performance for me, at least, was of course Julia Roberts. But then again, she sort of has the more interesting character to play with in the film. And some people might say she might be a bit miscast and all that, but I thought she did pretty solid work in this film. And although I kind of wish Billy made the film a bit more visually stylish as well, because it doesn't feel as cinematic as it could have been. It kind of feels, I don't want to say a TV movie or anything like that, because that's, you know, but I kind of wish it was like I said, a bit more cinematic, because it does play sort of like an episode of like a HBO show or something like that, in terms visually, not sort of content or anything like that. But overall, Secret in Their Eyes, it's an okay film. I still found it reasonably engaging, nonetheless. But like I said, it doesn't quite has the impact, since, you know, a lot of the sort of revelations I already knew were coming anyway. It didn't sort of have that same impact as the original film did. So overall, if you've seen the original and you loved it and all that, I wouldn't say, you know, you don't necessarily have to check out this film, but if you're curious, by all means check it out. But if you haven't seen the original film, or yeah, I'd say this one's worth a watch. So, but like I said, I think it'll play much better to people who haven't seen the original. So if I had to rate this film, I'd give it about 3 stars. It's okay, but nothing particularly memorable, and not quite as good as the original. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Secret in Their Eyes. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.